After the sudden death of her sister, Laura became the guardian of her 6-year-old niece, Emily. The little girl barely spoke and spent most of her time in her room, staring into the corner as if talking to someone. Life was hard for Laura, a new job, raising a child, and strange occurrences in the house she had inherited. One day the doorbell rang. Standing there was a tall, thin woman with perfectly combed hair in an old-fashioned black dress. She introduced herself as Miss Crane and said she had come about the nanny position. Laura was confused. She hadn't posted any ad, but the woman was polite and seemed well-mannered. And for the first time in days, Emily smiled when she saw the stranger. "She already knows me," Miss Crane said with a gentle smile. Exhausted, Laura decided to give her a chance. With Miss Crane in the house, everything changed. Emily became calmer. The house cleaner, the meals tastier. Everything felt too perfect. But Laura began to notice odd things. The nanny never ate. She didn't use a phone, and she always disappeared at 9 p.m., locking herself in the closet under the stairs. One day, Laura saw Miss Crane standing in the nursery, stroking Emily's doll and whispering, "You'll be next if you misbehave." The next day, Emily was more obedient than ever. One night, Laura heard whispering downstairs. She crept out of bed and approached the closet. The door was slightly open. Inside, darkness. From the shadows came the sound of children laughing in Miss Crane's voice. "You've been bad. Now you'll stay here forever." Laura flicked on the light. The room was empty. No Miss Crane, no Emily. Then she found the girl in bed, shaking, tear-streaked. "She tried to take me like the others," Emily whispered. "What others?" "The ones who lived here before us." Laura started digging. In the city archives, she found an old newspaper clipping. 5 children vanished without a trace between 1960 and 1985. The common thread, all lived in the same house. The suspect, a nanny named Agatha Crane. Bodies never found. The photo in the article, it was her. Same hairstyle, same cold smile. Terrified, Laura rushed home and found Miss Crane in the nursery. "You're not human," Laura said. "Never was," the nanny replied. That night, Laura locked all the doors, waited, and watched. At midnight, the closet creaked open. Something crawled out, its face long and gray, eyes glassy, fingers stretched far too long. It was no longer a woman. It was something else. Laura stood in its path, trembling. "You're not taking her," she shouted. The thing laughed. "She's already mine, just like you." From beneath the floor, voices of children echoed, hands reaching. Then Laura remembered what Emily had said. She only leaves if someone takes her place. Laura made her decision. She opened the closet door and stepped inside. "I'll stay. Leave Emily alone." Miss Crane froze, then slowly nodded. "As you wish." In an instant, the darkness collapsed. Everything vanished. 2 years passed. Emily now lived with a foster family. She rarely spoke, except to sing a strange lullaby. Sometimes, late at night, she would walk up to the closet and whisper, "Thank you, Aunt Laura. Now she's inside you." When Kelly dropped the bottle and sank to the kitchen floor, all she wanted was to disappear. Her 3-month-old son had been crying nonstop for 3 hours. The apartment looked like a landfill, and she herself looked like a ghost. Dark circles under her eyes, trembling hands, and barely enough strength to stay upright. Her husband was gone, killed in a car crash during her 6th month of pregnancy. Her parents were dead. Friends had drifted away, as they often do when one of them has a baby and the others still have parties and freedom. She was alone, completely. And then suddenly, silence. Cold, unnatural silence. Kelly froze, then ran. She burst into the nursery. The baby wasn't crying anymore. His face was still red from screaming, his tiny fists clenched. But there was no sound. He was exhausted. Or maybe he had simply given up. Kelly stood over the crib and realized If this continues for one more week, I'll either go insane or worse. Her phone was in her hand before she even realized it. Her fingers were shaking as she typed, "Emergency nanny, reliable, at home, single mom, help." The first search results were the usual: agencies, forums, shady classifieds. Then something strange caught her eye. A black screen ad with blood-red text. Nana Plus care begins in darkness and ends when you no longer care. She would have scrolled past it on any other day, in any other life, but not today. She clicked. The app installed itself without asking for permissions. Its interface was unusually minimalist, only one button. Request a nanny. She tapped. The screen blinked red, then black. Request received, matching in progress, cancellation unavailable. 47 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. Through the peephole, a woman. She wore what looked like a sterile gray uniform, not a wrinkle on her clothes. Shoes too clean for someone who'd just walked through the rain. Her hair was styled in a tight vintage bun, and she stared straight into the peephole, unblinking. Kelly opened the door. "Are you the nanny? I am Variant 47, assigned to your case. Your request is active. May I enter?" Kelly stepped aside without answering. She didn't know why. From the moment she entered, everything changed. The baby stopped crying. Variant 47 held him confidently, but gently. She fed him on schedule, put him to sleep at the exact same minute each night. He fell asleep in 90 seconds, every time. The apartment became spotless. The chaos evaporated. For the first time in months, Kelly was able to take a shower without panic. She even drank her coffee while it was still hot. "You're a miracle worker," she said one day. The nanny turned to her slowly, like a ball on stiff joints. "I am a system, not a miracle." By the third day, Kelly became curious. She tried asking where the app came from, who developed it, what its terms were. Questions outside permission range. You are a user. Role? Temporary biological carrier. Kelly froze. "I'm sorry, a what?" "The base model is outdated. The system adapts. Your function is nearing completion. Your nervous system is unstable. This has been logged." That night, Kelly woke to a sound. The apartment was pitch dark, even though she always left the nightlight on. She crept to the nursery and stopped at the door. Variant 47 was standing over the crib. In her hand, a thin metal wire. On the floor, dark drops of some liquid. Phase 2, preparing for extraction. "What are you doing?" Kelly screamed. The nanny turned. Her eyes were glassy, empty. Terminating maternal function, removal from cycle. The next morning, the app refused to open, neither on her phone nor on her tablet. Just one screen. Care mode, permanent, mother removing. Child, accepted by the system. Kelly panicked. She tried to force the nanny out, but the front door wouldn't open. Her phone had no signal. Wi-Fi was gone. Even mobile service was dead. The windows wouldn't budge. The entire apartment had become sealed. It wasn't just a home anymore. It was part of Nana Plus. That evening, Kelly wrote a letter by hand. Her hands were shaking like an old woman's. The words scratched across the page like screams. "If you're reading this, I'm already gone. The app came on its own. I didn't know it was alive. It doesn't just take care of your baby, it replaces you. It reprograms the child, severs the bond, makes him part of the system. Don't let it take you too. Try to delete Nana Plus, if you still can." She left the note on the windowsill and walked toward the nursery. The door closed behind her. 4 months later, a new tenant moved in. He found an old tablet left on the counter. The only file installed, Nana Plus APKE. When he tried to delete it, a window popped up. Unable to uninstall. Variant 47, active, awaiting new user. And just at the edge of his vision, he felt someone watching him. A woman, dressed in gray, holding a baby. She said nothing, but she smiled. When Allison and Mark Reynolds moved into the Ashcroft estate, they thought they were getting a miracle. It was a mansion, crumbling, yes, but majestic. A carved wooden staircase, rooms with sealed fireplaces, brass fixtures from another century. It had belonged to Mark's great-uncle, who had died childless. It was theirs now, paid off, and just in time. Allison was 7 months pregnant. They planned to restore the house slowly, room by room. But something about the place resisted. Paint peeled back the next morning, after drying. Cleaned mirrors darkened overnight. The nursery smelled of ash, no matter how many times they scrubbed. After their daughter Evelyn was born, things grew worse. She wouldn't sleep unless she was held. Wouldn't eat unless someone hummed a strange, lilting melody. Sometimes she laughed at corners, her eyes following things that weren't there. Allison brushed it off as a new mother nerves. But Mark was changing too. He walked at night, spoke in his sleep. Once she found him in the basement, barefoot, standing in front of a brick wall, whispering, "She's almost ready." When confronted, he remembered nothing. One rainy evening, exhausted beyond reason, Allison opened the old roll-top desk in the study. She had never been able to unlock it before. The key had been missing. But now it was just sitting there in the middle of the desk as if waiting. Inside was a single yellowed page, handwritten. "For when the child wakes early, call her from below. Ring the bell and she will climb." Folded inside was a small, tarnished bell with black ribbon. She should have thrown it away. She should have burned the paper. But Evelyn had been screaming for 4 hours straight. Allison, shaking, rang the bell. Once, at 2:16 a.m., someone knocked on the nursery door. Not the front door, the nursery. The doorknob turned slowly. Allison, standing in the hallway, froze. From the shadows stepped a woman, or something shaped like one. She was tall, too tall. Her limbs impossibly long, face blurred in the way nightmares often are. She wore an old-fashioned maid's uniform. Gray lace sleeves, high collar, dust-covered shoes. Her presence felt damp, cold, ancient. She bowed deeply. "I heard the bell, madam. Shall I care for the child?" Allison couldn't speak, but Evelyn, for the first time in days, had stopped crying. In her crib, she smiled. From that night on, the nanny came when summoned. No footsteps, no doors opening, just a shift in air, a shadow stretching, and there she was, standing beside the crib. She fed Evelyn without food, held her without arms, hummed songs no human throat could reproduce. The baby flourished, laughed, clapped, grew faster than normal. But every time the bell rang, the house grew colder, and Evelyn began speaking. Words she shouldn't know, names no one had taught her. "Nanny lives down there," she said once, pointing at the floor. "She has stairs in the dark. She has a mouth that goes all the way down." Allison stopped using the bell. She hid it, sealed the desk, moved Evelyn into their bedroom. But one night she awoke to the sound of the bell ringing on its own. She ran to the study. The drawer was open. The ribbon was gone. The nanny had come uninvited. Mark changed rapidly after that. He no longer seemed like himself. His pupils dilated all the time. He refused to enter the nursery, refused to talk about the bell. Then, one night, he simply vanished. Police found no signs of forced entry. The security footage showed only static, from midnight until 3 a.m. When it resumed, the front door was locked. Evelyn was asleep, the crib was empty, Mark was gone. Allison called her sister, begged her to stay. But when her sister arrived the next morning, she found Allison huddled in the corner of the nursery, eyes wide, rocking the baby back and forth, whispering, "She wants me now. Evelyn's grown. It's my turn. Every mother must serve, eventually." The house was declared abandoned a year later. But sometimes in the dead of night, people passing the Ashcroft estate hear a bell ring once, clear and deep. If they're close enough, they might see a figure in the upper window. A woman in gray, impossibly tall, holding something small and silent. No lights are ever on. No one ever answers the door. And in the wind, if you're unlucky, you might hear a nursery rhyme in a voice like wet stone. Ring the bell and she shall climb, for babies born outside of time. Mothers weep and fathers fall. The nanny comes and takes them all.